The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam McCaden, and this is going to be the Welcome to the New Nadex Platform webinar. It's going to be probably a bit similar to a few of the other ones we've been doing the past few weeks, but it's really just giving you guys an overview of the new platform, giving you a little bit of information of how we're developing it, when we're going to switch off, and really making sure that all of you out there, all of you guys and gals, are ready to get over into this new platform and use it just as well as we did the old one. So very quickly, my name is Adam McCaden, and if you haven't attended one of my webinars before, I've been working at Nadex for close to 3 years now in a number of different roles, but for the last about year and a half, 2 years, I've been working heavily on making this new platform, making sure that it is, great for trading for all of you, and I also work heavily on all of our new products. So some of those events you've seen, the peso product, etc. I am heavily involved in doing that as well. So let's kick off in earnest here. This is the disclaimer that you should be familiar with if you have come on to a webinar here at Nadex before. I'll leave it on screen for just a second. Very basically, it's going to say, trading here and really trading anywhere is going to involve risk. So always make sure that you are aware of that risk before you get in. Never trade with any money that you can't afford to lose. You should definitely be trading with your discretionary income. Don't be trading with your food money, your rent money. That's definitely not good. I also like to say, I will be placing a couple of trades on my demo account here today, just to show you guys around the platform. None of these trades are going to be actual recommendations to do anything. I can't give you any recommendations for what to trade as an employee of Nadex, but it will just be so you guys can see, the layout and how to actually navigate around the platform, and see how to actually trade on the new platform. So I'll give one more second just to keep reading this through. And let's go on to the next slide here. So this is going to be our contact line. So if you do have any questions on this webinar, and I will try, I have your questions up over on another screen over here, so I will try to, can't hear. I'm seeing someone in the chat saying that they cannot hear. Can anyone else confirm if they can or can't hear me right now? Let's see here. Maybe having some technical difficulties. Maybe not. I'm going to keep going on. You can hear? Okay. Okay, there we go. Thanks guys for coming in. So the person that said they can't hear, if you could try refreshing, it might just be on your side there. Thanks for confirming that, everyone. So again, if you do have any questions during this webinar, I will try to answer them. As you can see, I can see what you guys are saying as we're going through this. If I can't get to any, or if maybe they're a little bit too specific to answer in the scope of this webinar, you always feel free to give our customer service line a call or email us at customerservice@nadex.com. I know all of our customer service team, they're all very knowledgeable people, and they will be able to help you out with any issues you're having or any further clarification on anything we talk about in this webinar today. So just really quickly, before we actually jump onto the new platform where we're going to do most of this webinar, this is going to be the agenda. Just so quickly going through it, we're going to go over the new layout. So a lot of the new UI and user experience stuff that will differ a little bit from the old platform. I'm going to go through how to place an order, how to actually see your positions, manage your positions, your working orders. I'm going to go over the settings, and then I'm going to save the charts for last, just because they are probably the largest the largest change from the old platform. So I wanted to go into that in depth, but I do know that some of you out there don't use our charts. You might use another charting service. So that's why I'm saving it for last, just in case you're one of those people that doesn't use our charts and that isn't really applicable for you. So without further ado, let's actually jump into the platform here. So how we're actually going to get to this, let me open this up here. So we're going to go just to nadex.com. So just like you would go to the old platform. Now, you will notice, if you haven't been to nadex.com in a little bit, that we have actually changed up the website as well as the platform. So this is kind of a whole rebranding, but relaunch, if you will, of the entire Nadex experience. We wanted to kind of get into for lack of a better word, I guess the 21st century. So we do have this whole kind of new experience. So the new website does sort of go with that new platform there. But to actually get into the new platform, you're just going to simply go to login on the top right corner of your screen. And that should be taking, I guess I didn't actually click it that first time. So you click login, you'll go to this account login section. I'm going to choose demo, but if you choose live, it's going to be the same username and password sort of setup as you would have on your old platform. So I'm going to get in my demo. I like Nadex. And let's log right in here. So this is going to be the first the first screen you actually land in on the new platform here. You'll see it does look just a little bit different, especially from the user experience section here, or sorry, user interface. So on the left-hand side, just to you could pull up the same contracts that you would recognize on the old platform. So none of the contracts, anything like that is changing. So to actually go find your contracts, you have your binary options, your call spreads, and your knockout contracts. So you can click through up here. Then underneath this, you're going to choose your market class. So let's, first one today, let's just choose an indice, and let's do the Wall Street 30. That sounds good to me. We'll choose daily, so you see all your different options for your indexes or indices, and you see all your different expiration times as well. Actually, let's do a 2 hour just so we have a little bit more pricing here. And so to actually pull up a contract, you would just click either directly on, actually, let me go back to the first part here. So you can click directly on the strike price itself, or you can click the buy or sell to actually bring the contract up. So if you go back down to the Wall Street 30, you can see if I just click on the contract itself, it's going to bring up the deal ticket without actually a side here. Actually, let me take this off. And if I actually click buy or sell, it will bring up the correct side, or the corresponding side of that contract. So as we can see, we have the deal ticket on the right-hand side here. We have our buy, we have our sell, we have our questionable Wall Street 30, finish higher than the strike price 27,823 at 2 p.m. That's obviously our expiration time there as well. You can see we have the indicative. So this is something we've actually been changing recently. We put the indicative price here, we put the expiration time here. This is something I guess we changed probably 2-3 weeks ago. You can show your market depth. So this is going to give you the entire market book, or you can hide that again as well. You have your order type. So right now it's set to market because that's my default. You have your size. Obviously, you can go 1 or 2, and then you can go ahead and place your order. So I will place an order on this demo account quickly. And you can see down at the bottom, it is showing up in my positions panel. Really quickly going over the positions panel, we see the type. So this is either going to be binary option, call spread, or knockout. The contract name, obviously, we're on the Wall Street 30, and this is the 27,823 strike. We could see the indicative price. So when we were building this, we tried to put the indicative somewhat close to the strike, just so you can kind of get a good idea of where this is going to need to be by expiration of the contract, if it's going to settle in your favor or not. We have the expiration time, the time left. You can see this position, this -1 here. That's going to obviously mean that I have a one sell side position. If I had a buy side position, that would say +1 or +2 or +5 or however many of those contracts I actually have there. My average price, fairly self-explanatory, and the current price, again, fairly self-explanatory. It's going to be the price that if I were to sell out of this contract right now, I could get for the contract. That's also going to make up the profit and loss column. So always something good to remember, and this isn't really specific to the new platform, but just to all Nadex contracts in general. This profit and loss column is going to show you the profit or loss of your contract if you exit that contract right now. It is not the profit or loss of the contract if you were to hold it to expiration. I know that is something that I have gotten questions on before. So it is just if you exit right now, it is completely possible that, perhaps you could have a negative profit or loss, but if you hold it to expiration, that could show positive because the contract has moved up or down since you actually entered the position. The profit or loss will also always be either the current minus the average or the average minus the current, depending on if you are on the buy side or the sell side of the contract. So that is generally the new layout of the deal ticket. Also, I'll just show you quickly, you can choose your limit order, and then you can select your price as well. Obviously, if you're doing a market order, you're trying to get the best available market price, so you don't have a price box there to actually select. Let's go back to a limit order quickly. And so I can show you guys a working order. Let's get in here. And oops, that is the wrong one. Sometimes I still mess that up. Here we go. This will get us a working order here. And so now you can see I have my working order. If I click over on my orders tabs, you'll see my working order here. I have one contract. It's going to be very similar to the positions, to my open positions tab here. The main difference here is going to be it's showing me how many are going to be filled if that actually is filled, and it's showing me the price that I'm trying to actually get the contract at, right? So if this contract goes down to 30 on the buy side, that will hopefully get filled for me. If not, this is just going to be a working order. And obviously, if it never goes down to that 30 point before expiration of the contract, my working order would be canceled at the end of the contract, right? Because I'm not actually in a position yet. You can also see we have these little bubbles here that show how many positions you have. Now, this is going to be individual position. Well, actually, sorry, that's so not individual positions, right? So not how many buy or sell sides. So I have two, but it's still saying I just have one. That's going to be how many different contracts you're in, not necessarily different lots you're in, if that makes sense. So just to show that a little bit, I'll get into a small cap contract. Now this number is going to be 2, even though obviously I have 2 short and 1 long. So I have 3 contracts total. Very quickly moving on, we have our 24-hour history here as well. So I'm not sure if I said this at the beginning of this this webinar, but this is still a work in progress. We are still trying to get every single feature from our old platform into the new platform right now. Almost all of them are here. The one large glaring feature that is not here quite yet is a history that goes back more than 24 hours. So right now, this is going to be the best history that you can actually get on this new platform. It's going to be this 24-hour order history. Because it is a order history, you're going to see, you can see 2 different lines for each of my transaction here. And that's just going to be order sent and order filled. If you're doing market orders, those are generally going to be, one after another, bam, bam. If you're doing limit orders, you might place an order. It's going to be order sent, and then your order filled might be, hours later, depending on when that order actually goes through the book and is able to be filled for you. Now, going back, so that history, we do know that that's a pretty large thing that we don't have in the new platform yet. We are working on getting that into the new platform. I'm working with a lot of the developers on actually revamping that history that was on the old platform and making it a little bit clearer, a little bit cleaner. For the time being, though, if you do need to go see your history that goes back more than 24 hours, what I would recommend doing is actually opening up that old platform, and I can show you how to do that fairly quickly here. So obviously on the top right-hand corner, you can see it's a big button, Open Old Platform. So if I actually go and click this, it's going to send me back to a separate login page, right? So to clarify, you are still able to access the old platform, obviously, as I'm doing right now. We are not going to take away access to this old platform until we have everything over that we need to put over into the new one, right? So we're not going to take away access to this before we give you history. We're not going to take away access to this before we give you the ability to, upload your documents in a quick manner through the platform. So this will stay available until we have finished all of that. We're not going to leave any of you hanging out to dry or anything like that. But eventually, this new platform, or sorry, the old platform will go away. Our timetable for that is sometime in November, but a hard date has not been set yet because it really is dependent on when we can finish this work to get everything you need in. So I can log back into this old platform, and you guys will see the old one that many of you will have traded on for quite some time. And if I do need to go to see my history, I can go just how you used to. Oops, there it is. I would go to transactions, and now I can pull up, my last 60 days, for example, view history. And there it is. So, I know it's not the best experience for right now. It is coming though. It will be coming to the new platform, and it will hopefully. I'm working with the developers again to make that a better experience than kind of what you're seeing here. It should be a little bit cleaner and a little bit easier to understand. So I'm going to switch back to the new one. Obviously, you can see we have this button here again. That's going to take you right back. So let's go back. There we are. I do have to log back in, so it is going to make you log in and log out every time you do switch between the new and the old. Luckily, you can do most things in this new platform. It is really just the history is the major thing that you aren't able to access yet. So moving on, we've kind of gone through the deal ticket. We've gone through how to actually access your different markets that you want in the Finder window over here and managing your positions. So next, we're going to go really quickly through the different settings options. And actually, let me just go take you through this entire left-hand panel here. So you can see if you click the markets here, you can actually bring this up and bring this down. And before I go through the settings, I'll actually show you for everything here. So let's say you want to just have a larger chart that takes up the entire platform. You can hit these little arrows that are going to actually hide these panels, and you can bring them back up by selecting your actual deal ticket here. That's going to bring that back up. This little arrow is going to bring up that bottom panel again, and this markets tab on the left-hand side is going to bring that up as well. But pray and time the new platform. I'm not sure I actually understand that question. The question was, how about trade time in the new platform? If you're talking about, if you could explain that a little bit better, I will come back to that question. So on the left-hand side here, we do have all of these different settings here. So I just clicked on live chat. So this is actually going to pop out a new window at this point. Eventually, we do want to have this actually inside the platform. But for right now, this is just going to pop out a new window. This is something new we've introduced. This is a live chat box. So you can click down here, chat with an expert. And this is going to bring up, a live chat that you should probably know from many other places on the internet. Many companies are doing this now. So this is going to get you over to the same customer service people that you used to talk to on the phone all the time. It's just a little bit quicker. We found, and I think the stats kind of back up, it's a little bit quicker to answer your questions, and we can do that in a manner that's a little bit easier for you, and I think for our side as well. So it kind of allows us to answer more of your questions, get you a more timely response. So definitely use that live chat if you do have any questions. Going down from the live chat, you're going to see this feedback box here. So this is a pretty large part of this new platform. It's something that I do want to take a second to harp on for a second, because this new platform, we built it in mind, for all of you traders out there. We really wanted to make this new platform, and still do want to make this new platform something that is the best for you to trade on, something that completely satisfies your trading needs, right? And so the way we do that is actually you filling out this feedback section. So you could say, I like Nadex, or maybe if you don't like Nadex, I hate the new platform, right? Whatever you have, if it's good, bad, up, down, right? Definitely give us your feedback. This doesn't go, into some suggestion box that never gets open. I actually do see this feedback every single day, as well as, members of my team and our developers over here. So we do get all this feedback. We do read through it. So if there's some functionality that you really want, you really need, definitely tell us, because again, this is how we make the platform for you, and this is how we prioritize, what the next things we want to put into this platform are. I'm not gonna sit here and say that every single thing that everyone puts in here is going to make it in. That's just not really reasonable for us to do. But we do try to go through and say, okay, 50 people have said we really need tariff charts and tariff tickets. Okay, that should be the next thing we do, which is actually something that happened. We built this platform, we put it out there, and then a lot of people said, okay, we need the ability to tear our charts off, tear our tickets off, have multiple markets up. And so that was one of the first major new features we added after we started giving this to people when it was still in beta. So definitely make sure you're leaving your feedback if you see something here that you would like, if there's something extra that you need to trade effectively. Going on, and I actually realized I didn't actually go over the tear off charts and tear off tickets, which are pretty large. So I will come back to that in just one second. Going down again, we have the settings here. So this is going to be the same settings that you should recognize from the old platform. You have your tolerance level here. I won't go fully into what the tolerance does in the scope of this webinar, but basically it sets the tolerance range for your market order. Many of you should know the market orders, they do have this protection level. It's going to just set you that range that you want to get filled within, and kind of protects you a little bit more, just gets the bottom of the market drops out while you're putting a market order. So definitely, if you would like to know a little bit more about that, you're not exactly sure what a market order protection is, you can go on our website, and that's going to give you a little bit more explanation on how that is. But here you can see I can move it up, I can move it down. That's for my binaries, and that's for my spreads. The default for binaries is actually this $10. I've changed it in the past on this account, and the spreads is $3. Now this spreads actually does affect the knockouts tolerance range as well. And so this is something actually, I think in the next version of this, in the next update, we actually are going to put spreads and knockouts, hopefully in the future too. This is on our roadmap to actually give you a separate box to choose spreads or knockouts. So do just remember that right now, this is actually going to affect the tolerance range on both the spread and the knockout products. Going back here to our settings panel, oops. Look at me not knowing how to navigate this. You can click the settings up at the top left. You can change your default order type, so market or limit, and you can see here, this should actually now bring up a limit order when I click on this. There we go, now you can see the limit order. Going back, we also have the default contract size. This is going to start at 1. If you always put in 10 lots or 20 lots, you can certainly move this up. I would always just say, remember, if you change this, definitely don't want you guys out there to think you're putting in a 1 lot and then accidentally put in a 10 lot or a 20 lot. That's something we absolutely want to avoid happening. Going back again, so this is something we just added as well, this session inactivity. So this is actually going to, you can see here, specifies a period of inactivity after which you'll be logged out. So we don't leave these logged in forever, purely because it's sort of a security issue. Maybe if you're on a public computer or something like that, we don't want it to be logged in forever. But you can choose how long you want it to stay logged in after you have the page up. So if you have it at 1 hour, right? If I'm just clicking around here and I just have this open on my computer, and maybe I eat lunch and I come back, it is going to make you log back in if you've gone for more than an hour, or you can choose, up to 12 hours for that. I do know people in the past have asked us to have session inactivity, for all time, basically to not log you out at all. That's something, unfortunately, we can't do because of the regulations we have to abide by. It's sort of a security feature for us. So that is going to be the settings. I am sorry, I'm reading a question now. Let me get back to you on the trade time question, because I am not sure exactly. I will. I'll look into that near the end of the webinar, and I'll get back to you on exactly what that field is and if we are going to add it. Just off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what the trade time field says. So going back here quickly, I did remember that I forgot to show you guys the tear-off charts and the tear-off tickets. So this is something that we got a lot of feedback, obviously. This is why we actually prioritized building this. And I know a lot of you out there like having your multiple markets or your multiple charts set up, or multiple deal tickets, just so you can quickly get into a market when you see that opportunity. And often it can be, as we all know, a split second, especially in these faster term contracts, can be the difference between a profit and a loss. So you want to have your contracts, your deal tickets all set up before you actually need to get into the ticket, so you can do that quickly. So let's say that I am a trader and I like all the major US markets that we offer, major US indices. So let's open all of these up. So let's say I trade the small cap, I trade the Tech 100, I trade the Wall Street 30, and I trade the US 500. So let's really quickly tear off 4 tickets here. And I'll kind of show you how I like to set these up, but definitely you can set them up in any way that best suits you. And let's go to the fourth one here, Wall Street 30, I believe. Let's open up four of these. So you can see it's sort of hiding when I click down, but I can still see my 4 tickets here if I go into my Google Chrome. So now let's say I want to just watch these. I can set these all up. Oops. I can set these all up next to each other, and I can watch all my markets. Now I'm setting these all up kind of in front of the platform right now. I do actually have a second screen that you guys can't see, and generally what I do is I set these up on my second screen so I can still watch the main platform on my first. But it's obviously built so that you can do this in any way you'd actually like to set these up, whatever works best for you. You can say I have all my major US indices up here. If I need to change, let's say, the strike price or the expiration time, I can do that straight from this ticket itself. You can't change the actual market from this ticket, but you can change strike price, you can change expiration time, and now, let's say there's something happening and I don't know, there's a price point, a resistance point that I see in the US Tech 100. It's just hitting, so now I can quickly get into that position, and that's going to show, it's actually a limit order. You can see it came up in my orders panel, but let's say I wanted to market, and there we go. I got into that market order, and I got into 10 contracts because I have my default order size set to 10. I could also bring up the charts. So let's say I'm someone that likes to look at multiple charts. At the same time, I can do this any way you want to set it up, and then I can also hide the deal ticket itself if I just want to look at the charts. So really, we tried to make this so you can be as flexible as you possibly can be. Oops, flexible as you possibly can be in this new platform and trade the way that you want to trade. So hopefully that helps out a lot of you that were asking for those multiple charts and tickets. So moving on now. And you can, real quick, you can tear off you don't have to tear the ticket off, you can tear the chart off just by itself as well. It's gonna take a second to load, and there it is. So moving on, I do want to go over the My Account section quickly as well. So this is going to be, obviously the My Account section. This will look pretty similar to what you saw on the old account. It does have this nice new great UX designers created for us. So this is going to show you, oh, looks like my internet cut out. I'm hoping you guys can still hear me. This is one of the joys of working from home, right? The internet's not quite as great as it is back in the office, so every once in a while we get these little hiccups. But I think I should be back, hopefully now. So you can see we have these account balances here. So this is going to give you an idea of how much of your account is available. It's going to be this big blue mark. The darker blue is going to be your current position value. So you can see the position value is the value of all the contracts that I currently own. And the reserved value is going to be money that is held in reserve to actually get out of those contracts, right? So you can see it's divided up there. And on demo accounts, generally this light blue part is going to be quite big because it is that $10,000. But maybe if you only have a $300 account or $1,000 account or whatever you have in your live, that might be broken up a little bit differently. Going down the left-hand side, we have the residential address. You can see this great fake address I have because it is, again, a demo. I live in Chicago, Alaska, obviously. But if you need to edit that, you can click this. Same with contact details, very similar. If you need to edit this, you can click that edit button. And you do want to make sure you're clicking that save changes whenever you put new things in there. You can see we talked a little bit earlier about the history and statements, and this is actually another way you can get over there. So we have this little coming soon banner, but it's not here yet. But if you do want to get them, you can go to the old platform like I showed you earlier in the webinar. Between the personal details and the reporting section on the live account, there is also going to be your funding section. So the funding section, if obviously you can't see it on the demo, but on the live account, this is also going to be where you put your funds into your account, you get your funds out of your account, etc. There's also the contact us page. So the contact us page is going to show you our customer service email. It's going to show you if you do want to, use the old-fashioned snail mail, write us a letter, send us something, you can send it here. This is the office, and I know people are still I'm pretty sure we have someone still periodically going in, making sure that any snail mail is actually coming to us. It is obviously going to be a little bit delayed right now, though, because none of us are actually in the office on a daily basis. But either if we are or aren't in the office, the best way to get in touch with us is going to be this email address. And then again, this is the feedback section. Already went over it, but just again, let us know your feedback. We are very interested to see it, and we do read it. I read it every single day. And then log out, it's going to be this log out button down here. So if you would want to log out, if you want to switch into your live account from your demo, etc., you can click that button. How do you bring up a chart, and can you save different charts up for the same contract? Looks like that was answered by one of my teammates here, so I'm not going to answer that on the actual webinar. Now, let's go into the chart. So we've gone over most of the functionality and the new layout of the new platform here. Actually, one more thing before I do go into the charts. I keep going back. I keep forgetting about the little parts and then remembering again. We do have your available balance and your position value up here. If you do want to change this, you can only show 3 of these at one time, just because because of how we built this. There's not enough space on many people's browsers and on our mobile version as well. But if you do want to see your available balance, your account value, your position value, you can show these up here. You can show your reserve, etc. Whichever 3 combination of this you'd like to see. You can also hide these values, because maybe, I don't know, maybe you do videos on this platform, maybe you are an educator, maybe you just don't want people looking over your shoulder while you're trading in a public space and actually seeing your money, so you can hide or show these values. And if you aren't sure what these different values mean, you can click this little information box, and this is going to tell you, oh, hey, available balance, those are the funds that are available to deal or withdraw back to my account. Obviously, you can't withdraw demo funds. Wish you could, because I'd have a lot more money. All right, so now we're moving on to the charts here. So let's bring up a chart. And we've been spending a lot of time on the indices today. Let's go to some Forex contracts. So there's going to be a lot that we have changed from the charts on the old platform. So I'm going to quickly pull up a 2-hour contract here. Let's wait for that to actually load up. And so I just randomly clicked, it's the top one. It's going to be the Aussie yen contract. And we can see here, so a couple of new things. You'll see the strike boxes have been changed a little bit. It's a little bit more streamlined now on this new platform, so hopefully you can see them a little bit better. Another kind of cool feature I like, it's not huge, but it's just a cool little graphical thing, is if I have the buy side selected, it's going to be blue and it's going to shade above my strike line here. And if I have the red side selected, the sell side, it's going to shade below in red. Just a nice little visual representation of actually what's going on there. Quickly, I'm going to show you, because we've actually added new visualizations of these contracts to all 3 different contract types. So, and I've really been clicking on the indices a lot today. Let's go to a commodity here. We'll click a crude contract. And so you can see, let me get out a little bit more so you can see the range on this. And this is let's do a 2-hour one so we can see the ranges a little bit better. Okay, so now you can see the actual range of the call spread contract here. So this is going to be your ceiling and this your floor. And then it is shaded blue because the lines are blue at the top and bottom because it's a buy. If you click the red, or sorry, the sell, it's going to be red floor and ceiling. Just to kind of remind you, hey, this is what you are seeing here, what you're trading on either side. And then we have the knockouts, so there's going to be a little bit different as well. You can see this knockout range, and let me, I have some, okay. So you can see here, we have our 4 ranges on the different knockouts. So I can select my range, and then if I want to buy or sell, it's gonna be these buttons in the top right corner to actually bring up that deal ticket. Oop. There we go. So, just a little bit new visual representations. I think they're quite cool. I mean, it's not anything that's completely groundbreaking, but I do quite enjoy those new visualizations of the contracts. So going back in, let's pull up another contract here, and let's do a 2-hour, just so we have a little bit more pricing on the book right now. So we have this Aussie dollar contract, and you can see, let's go back to, let's say 3 minutes so you can see all the different strike prices. Okay, so I'm going to get into, can you explain how the knockout works? Um, so in the scope of this webinar, I might touch on it a little bit at the very end, but right now I want to go through exactly how the new platform itself works. But if we do have time at the end of the webinar, I'll go through just a little bit of how that knockout product works. I do actually quite like the knockouts. It's one of my the one I like to trade on my demo account the most. Obviously, that's that's opinion, and a lot of you like to trade the binaries and the call spreads as well. So moving on here, we can see I have my buy and my sell, and let's actually just get into a contract here. Let me change this to a market just so I can get into one. So first of all, you may notice this from our old from the old platform. It's going to be very much the same. You can actually see your contract shown visually here. And so if it's red, it's going to be red if you're still at a loss on your contract. You can see the +1 and you can see the strike price. If you want to see, if I go here, I can see my contract is blue because I am currently making a profit on that contract if I were to sell out of it right now. Let's go back to this Aussie dollar though. So you can see that it's either red or blue if you're actually in a position. If you have a working order though, and let's get into a working order quickly. Oops. Oops. Man, I'm clicking all over the place right now. Let's get into a working order quickly, and you're going to see that it's going to pop up in this gray. So this gray box is going to be a visualization of the working order, while this red box is going to be, or blue box will be a visualization of your actual open position, right? Now, as we, so that's going to be pretty much the same, but just wanted to make sure that all of you are aware of that's how you kind of visualize your contracts on the chart itself. Now, moving on, you could see I'm actually, so on the strike line I'm selected, it's going to be kind of darkened, right? And on the ones I'm not selected, it's going to be dotted. Just again, another quick visualization of what you, of how you can kind of see quickly the information of whether you're in a contract or not, or what you're actually selected on. And also, if I am in a contract, it's going to be this dotted black line. If I'm not, it's going to be a dotted blue line. Going on here now, and I'm actually going to hide these sections here quickly just so you guys can see the chart a little bit better as I go through this charting functionality. So the actually selecting, your time frames, your indicators, your showing or hiding different parts of the chart. You're going to be able to find that in two different places. So you may have just seen I was clicking on the top left for much of that. So you can go to the top left and access everything on the charting that you used to be able to access across the bottom of the screen on the old platform. So you have your intervals here. You can choose your, how much time you actually want to show the contract, your different indicators, or sorry, your different indicators that you want to overlay. Or, and this is actually how I generally navigate this because I find it a little bit easier. You can right click on the contract itself, sorry, on the chart itself, and that's going to bring up an entire list for you to select as well. Again, I find this a little bit easier just because if I'm way over here, I don't have to click up and then go back. I can just right click. It's all right here for me to actually select. So obviously the first one we have here is selecting the candlestick time. So if I want to see my 5-minute candles, I want to see my 3-minute candles, I can select them all from this side. I'm going to stay on these 3-minute candles for right now, just so you can see more of the contract itself and more of the strike prices. Moving on here, we also have, as I was just showing, you can choose if I want to see, a day's worth of data. If I want to see a month's worth of data for this contract, I can click on these and it's going to show me, okay, this is the last 24 hours of what's been happening in this market. Or I can go to, if I want to select yesterday at 11, I can go there and it's going to show me, oh, sorry, put that in. There we go. And it's going to show me yesterday at 11 o'clock. So you can go find a specific candle through this little go-to section, which is something actually new from the old platform. So something I think is quite useful in that regard. Moving on here, so you can choose your indicators from here, or you can choose them again from this right clicking. So this is going to be all the indicators we offer on the platform. There's quite a lot. I will throw one on in a second, but one thing I do think is quite cool, and especially for newer traders and actually experienced traders as well. If you aren't sure what one of these indicators is, and I've been trading for quite a while, but I still don't have a great idea of every single indicator out there. Let's say I don't know what shock and volatility is, right? Sorry. Wow, having a little bit of trouble. I'm stumbling over my words a little bit today. I'm sorry about that. Shock and volatility. So I can hover over this little information bar that's going to be on the left-hand side of all of these, or sorry, the right-hand side of all of these. And I can see, okay, well, shock and volatility, it's an indicator that calculates volatility as a trading price range between high and low prices for each period, right? So if I'm not sure what they are, it's going to give me a little blurb, and then it's going to give me a little bit more if I want to learn a little bit more. This is not going to be the end-all, be-all for your education. If you do want to learn more about this, some of these we do have learning guides on our website itself. If we don't, we are working on them. And then a Google is always your friend too if we don't have those actually built out quite yet. So let's say I just want to do an EMA on this chart. That's one I know a lot of people use, especially starting out learning technical analysis. So I'll choose my EMA, and you can see it's overlaying these great exponential moving averages lines. You can also see in the bottom left, I had this little box pop open, right? So it says EMA 20, 50, 100. Now, if I want to change, that 20, 50, 100 is referring to the different periods. So if I want to change those, I can actually click on this little EMA box in the bottom, and I can say, oh, okay, I have a 20 period. Maybe I want to go, 50. Maybe I want to go 15, 30, 60 or something, or just whatever you want to do. You can change this for your exponential moving average, as well as every other indicator. It's going to be this little box in the bottom left-hand corner. You can also change the colors. So let's say, I want blue and yellow and I don't know, red for these. I can apply this, and there we go. Now everything has changed. And I can also let me choose one that actually has a. There we go. You can see even for indicators that have an overlay near the bottom of the chart, we have this same thing. So for RSI, if I want to change my overbought, oversold ranges, I can do that there as well. Quickly, I'm going to take RSI off just so we can get a better view of the platform itself, of the chart itself. And so moving on, so that's going to be how you actually apply indicators. So drawings are going to be very similar to indicators. You do have this little information bubble. It might not be as useful for some of the drawings. I think we could all probably figure out what an arrow does. But if maybe you don't know what a Fibonacci retracement is, I was going to show you guys. There we go. So Fibonacci retracement will give you a little blurb about it, and then you can click on it and you can apply it to the platform itself. Now, this isn't how I generally apply this, but you can see I'm just kind of clicking around. But this is, how you would put a drawing on your platform. So if you want to do a Fibonacci retracement, you can throw that on. You can throw on, your GAN fans, etc. Again, probably not how you'd actually do that. Now, if I can also go back to my drawings, and I can say, okay, I don't like any of the drawings that I just put on there, or maybe it's a little bit too messy as it currently is. I can delete all my drawings, and there we go. They are all gone. I can also snap my drawings to my HLSC prices. So that was just snapped to those high, low, open, and close. If I don't want that, I can take that off, and that brings that drawing snap back off there. Moving down here, we see our types. So we actually do have a new type on this chart, a new candlestick type, or a new chart type, available on the new platform. So candlestick, line, HLSC, and mountain, those are going to be the same ones that you should recognize from that old platform. I'll just go through them quickly. But right, you can see your line chart, you can see your high, low, open, close bars, and you can see your mountain charts. The new chart type that we have is going to be this Hike and Ashy charts. I'm not going to fully go into what these are in the scope of this webinar either. If you do want to learn what they are, use them, you can definitely Google, and I believe actually one of our great blog writers is writing a blog that should come out fairly soon about Hike and Ashy and what they are, how to use them. Very, very generally, and now I would definitely say if you don't know what these are, do more research, but very generally, it's going to take more of an average approach to your candlesticks. And you can see that it's a little bit more smoothed out than what you would see with your normal candlestick chart, right? So this is going to go, you see these green lines, green bars in the middle of these red bars. On the Hike and Ashy, you really won't see that. It's kind of averaging and smoothing out those trends. So I'm going to just use the candlestick for the rest of this presentation. So moving on to price, if you want to see the asked price, you can change that here, bid, mid, last traded. Generally, if you don't know what these are, I would recommend keep hitting on mid. Mid is going to be the default. Mid is also going to be the best representation of the price as it comes down to settlement, as it comes down to that indicative price. If you do know what the ask and bid do and you have a reason for changing them, go ahead, change them, put them on ask, put them on bid. If you don't though, I would highly recommend just keeping them on that midpoint price, just because it is going to give you the best representation for what we are going to use for our settlement pricing. Now going down to scale, so this is actually quite cool. This is something that's brand new on these charts as well. You can see right now it's selected as linear. Now what is linear? Well, you can see on the right hand side, I actually just have the price of the underlying market itself, right? So I have 0.717, 0.7172, right? And we can see that right now Aussie dollar is trading up at 0.71742. If I go to percentage, that's going to change these into actually percent. And actually, let me change to a different market because you can't see that very well on here. Let me change to one that's been a little bit flatter. I think pound dollar has been flat today. I haven't actually been fully checking the markets and what's going on with them today. I've been busy doing it. There we go. So you can see here a little bit more clear what this scale is doing, this percentage scale, and what it's doing is it's taking, so 0% is going to be what it's starting at over on the left hand side here, right? So it's going to tell you how much percentage change has happened since the first bar that you can see visible on your chart, right? So instead of right now seeing on linear, it would say, just 1.30480 up here. Right now I can see, okay, well, that's up about, it's kind of hidden, but that's up about, 0.3%, somewhere around there, right? So give you a little bit more representation of how much percentage move has happened on, in the visible range that you can see on the chart itself. Just for right now, I'm going to move that back to the linear just so you guys can see the difference there. But definitely kind of a cool feature there that I like using. So we have this show tab now. Now this is just going to say if you want to hide your drawings, your indicators, your HLSC data. Again, so this HLSC data, if you see what that is, that's as I move my mouse, that's going to be this box that's following my mouse with the mid, highest, lowest. If I go and uncheck that, it's gone. So fairly self-explanatory, indicators show or hide. I recommend leaving this on. Now, there's definitely reasons that you would take it off. If you can't find your indicators, because I know I've talked to people before that have had this problem. Let's say, I'm overlaying all these indicators and none are showing up. Check this show box, because generally, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be your problem, that something isn't selected in here. Now, open positions, working orders, timelines. You'll see these little letters next to these. Now, what are these? Let me go back to a position where I actually have open positions of working orders, like Aussie dollar. Now you can see, obviously, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Where did my working order go? Where are my positions? Okay, there they are. So you can see, obviously, we have our working order, we have our positions overlaid on the chart, like we were talking about earlier. Now, If I want to hide these, I can go click here. That's going to hide my positions, my working orders, my timelines. I can also use hotkeys to do this. So that's what this P, O, and T is going to represent. So I'm going to click off here. And now if I hit P, it's going to show hide my positions. P will show it again. Same thing with O. And then T is going to be this timeline down here. So it will hide this little timeline at the bottom. Now, so those are going to be 3 of the hotkeys you have. You also have hotkeys for your different candlestick times. So if I just click in the middle here and I start typing, oh, let me make sure my number lock is on. Seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with this right now. You know what? I'm not sure why this isn't working. So generally, and I think it actually might be my keyboard here. I'm sorry for this. You know, I will get back to on why that is not working right now. But generally, if you just start typing in, oh, there it is. I'm not sure why that wasn't working. I think it was because my number lock was on and I couldn't fix that. But if you start typing in a number, you're going to see 5 and 5 minutes is going to show up. If I hit enter, you're going to see my candlestick time is actually changing there. So it's going to be a little bit quicker to actually, once you learn these hotkeys, if you like changing them different things, you can change that a little bit faster. The default is going to be the minute. So if you type in, let's say 1, it's going to be 1 minute. But if you can do day, now it's going to be daily, second, or tick, right? 1T, 1S, 1D. Again, if you can't remember what these are, they are going to be up here across the side for all the hotkeys. And again, similar for showing your open positions or working orders. You can see P, O, and T are going to be the hotkeys for that. You can also see your price changes in your price line. That's just going to be these little things down here if you want to show or hide those as well. Moving on to layouts, and actually let me just draw something here so you guys can see the layouts quickly. So if I have a certain layout, let's say, and I like to apply it, let's say, you know, I always like my EMA, maybe I like my RSI, and I have my my Fibonacci retracements on here. Let's put RSI on here. And then I could save this, right? So if I always like this setup on a lot of my markets, I could save this and I could say, okay, well, I'll save it as Adam's cool layout. Let's make sure I can type Adam's cool layout. And I can hit enter and I can actually save that. So now let me take these off and let's even go to another market here. Let's say I want to apply that to, you know, my dollar franc market, Let's go to one with a little more pricing. Let's go to one with a little bit more pricing. There we go. That's an hour out. And I can see now if I go in and I go to my layouts, I can apply. And Adam's cool layout, I think is what I just saved. You can see I save them as Adam's great, Adam's awesome all the time. But you can see that's going to apply my RSI and it's going to apply my EMA overlaid. So if you have indicators you like, again, you can save them as a layout. You can quickly apply them. And then, you know, you can delete them as well. So let's say, you know, I don't like my Adam's cool layout anymore. Well, great, now it's gone. Now I can't see it in the application section anymore. So just a way to quickly be able to apply the layout that you want to your charts. Moving on, customize appearance quickly. We'll just run through this very quickly, but this is going to be fairly self-explanatory. If I, you know, don't like my red and green for my candlesticks, let's say I'm a crazy man and I like blue and yellow. I can apply that and there we go. My God, is that ugly, but no offense if anybody you do like your blue and yellow candlesticks. But there we go. You can change your different candlesticks, the colors that you see there. Same on Hike and Ashley online, right? So, you know, you can change, you know, the shading, everything like that. And if you want to reset it to default, you can do that there. You can also show the watermark and the grid. So those grid lines, let me make it darker so that you guys can see. So if you like those grid lines or you don't like them, you can turn it off here. And then the watermark is going to show on the background. You can see I'm trading the dollar franc. It's just going to show the what you're trading overlaid on the background of your chart. I can reset that to the default so it doesn't have that blue and yellow in there anymore. And similarly, we saw you can change that for your indicators as well. Moving down one, almost to the last little bit here, we see this export chart. So this is actually, I think is quite cool. So this export chart button, let's say that you have something lined up exactly as you always like, or you see something that you want to save, some movement in the market, you say, okay, I want to save this and maybe share it or just hold on to it for future reference. You can export this chart and you can see it's going to pop up a picture down here. And now I have my beautiful, beautiful chart all exported. So you don't actually have to take a screenshot anymore. You can just export them straight and it's going to pull up a, PNG file of that chart itself. And you can see I have the dollar franc and the 3-minute candles up here on the left. So that's going to be great for not only saving different things you'd like to see on the charts itself, but maybe you see something and you're not sure why a customer service asks you to send a chart in so they can get a better idea of what's going on. You can do it that way as well without taking that screenshot. So that's going to be everything on this this little right-clicking section. Now there is one or two more things. So you can see I've been zooming it in and out as I go through this webinar, and that's going to be on my mouse wheel is how I've been doing that. How I've been zooming in and out of these different markets. You can also do that up here. So I can click these zoom and zoom out buttons. And then you can also one other thing that I think is quite cool, and it is something. Let me go to a market that is again is a little more flat. I think dollar or euro pound is pretty flat, right? Where's my euro pound? There we go. So if I go to a market like this, and as I'm zooming in and out, you guys should be able to see that the market is kind of filling my screen, right? So as the market moves up and down, it's sort of filling to my screen and it's zooming up and down as I do that, right? Now, if I move my chart a little bit, it's no longer going to kind of zoom in and out to my screen. So we could see now it's just sort of going back and forth, but it's not attaching it to my screen like it was, for lack of a better word. If I want to get this back, I can go click this little button right here. So it's going to say latest price, which will, again, it will take me to the latest price. So let's say I'm way out here and I want to go back to, the most recent candlestick. I can click this. What this is also going to do is it's going to re-enable this sort of like auto scrolling feature. So now you can see as I zoom in and out, it's going to kind of stay with the movement of the market itself. The chart's going to zoom up and down. But again, if I pull this, now it's not going to do it anymore. If I do this, it's going to bring it back. So I know we get questions about this, and this is quite a cool feature that's sort of hard to explain, especially written through email. So I did just want to touch on this quickly, and that's how you're going to get that like auto scrolling back in and out, is clicking this little button up here to show the latest price. So that is really going to be everything in the new platform. I feel like I was talking fast, but I talked for almost the whole hour. Thank you all for coming. I'm gonna give you guys all a few minutes for questions. So if you have any further questions, please put them in the chat right now. I will bring back up the last little slide of the webinar here, just as questions. So nothing too large you need to see here. So I'll give you guys a few minutes. I do see one coming in right now. Where can I watch this seminar again? Is it recorded so we can watch it again? Yes, it is. That's a great question. So this exact webinar will be put up on our YouTube channel. It should be put up generally within a couple days. I'm not sure exactly the turnaround. There are, I think, a few older ones as well that have been put up there. Something else I don't think I mentioned. So I did mention that a couple of the large features were still missing from the new platform. It's going to be that history. It's also for any of you that are new or haven't opened up a live account yet, we don't quite have our document upload fully built out and ready to go in the new platform. But good news, that actually is coming in the next major release we're doing. It should be in the next couple weeks. And actually, I have gone through the new layout of it, and it's very, very nice. So it's quite nice, quite a better experience, I think, than on our old platform. So for those of you that already have an account, it's probably not the most useful thing, but for those of you that don't have an account yet or still need to upload documents, it should be a much better experience from you on that front. I am not seeing any more questions coming in. If you do have any more questions, feel free to give us a call on this line, or feel free to email us at customerservice@nadex.com, or as I showed you earlier, go ahead and use that live chat. You might get a little bit quicker response there. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off of this webinar. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to kind of explain how the knockouts fully work in this webinar. I think we do have some learning materials and other webinars that go into that more, or again, feel free to contact our customer service. I will let you all go now because I know I am going a little bit over and I've talked for about an hour straight. Thank you all for coming to this webinar. I really hope you like this new platform because it really has been a labor of love to try to give this all to you to make a better platform for all of you to trade. Again, please leave your feedback. And I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. Good luck in your trading and stay safe out there.